This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1201, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What up, though?
And just down the street there, our managing editor, Suburban Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
No?
I'm out to the suburbs now. I'm
Don't
still in
understand,
Nashville.
Ring. And she's not in the suburbs, bro.
Yeah, I
Give
feel
me
like
Midtown, please.
Midtown is cool. Midtown is great.
because Cameron, I think you're missing the entirety of the point of having a nickname that because it should rhyme with Brown. I think that's the idea, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just assigning a random location to the name,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, but that's good. Like the Greek or like New York Jeff, you know, like in your friend group, no?
New York,
But
I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out who is New York Jeff.
I was just saying, one of your friends.
It
Call
sounds
him New
like-
York. Hey, wasn't there like on a reality dating show in the 2000s, like New York? What's her
I love
name?
New York.
I love New York.
Tiffany.
What a reality star.
She was the first content creator. She figured it out. She created a whole situation about being ratchet and a troll. It
I
was
wonder what
hilarious.
she's doing now. Like,
She's still doing a lot of the same things she was doing in the 2000s.
Oh,
Is
really?
she for real?
Yeah, she does a lot of like, I think reality stuff still, like cameos or different things like that. Like she'll make appearances every now and then and stuff. Like I think she set herself up well in like
Wait,
2006.
Are you saying she's on Cameo? Like I could send you a birthday
I'm
greeting
pretty
from
sure
New York?
I've seen her on Cameo.
Hold on.
She might not be anymore.
You know, Derek, you said something very interesting there that she was the original content creator, and I'm thinking about this on the fly. I haven't really dissected this idea, but did early VH1, like when I say early, like early aughts VH1 actually create internet culture? Here's the case. Okay. You had you had
videos.
those shows like I Love the 80s or I Love the 90s or I Love 1994, where it was basically just people. It was basically an early version of memes, like a little funny moment, a little clip, and then comedians making commentary on them. That was it. That was a huge part of their programming block. Then they had their true crime thing, which is now a big portion of internet with like Real Hollywood Story or, you know, Making the Band or whatever that one Behind the Music, right? So they had like long form true crime. They had meme-ish nostalgic content and they had basically the most internet ready reality dating shows ever with celebrities. Was VH1 just the internet before the internet when it came to like culture?
You're making a good case. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I would say that in MySpace, like MySpace was kind of like, because there was a pipeline also from MySpace to like VH1. Because what was the girl? It was the Asian girl, Tila
Tequila.
Yeah. She was like number one influencer on there for nothing. And then she wound up getting a show. Was it on VH1?
It was.
I think it was
So,
on
yeah.
VH1.
It was, yeah.
She wound up getting a show. Like you might be right, bro.
Well, even think about pop-up video, which was like an evolution of watching music videos where little trivia pop-ups would come up. It was basically comment bubbles on the music video.
Yeah, or tweets.
That you were Googling something like, hey, where have I seen that person? Basically what you do now when you watch music videos. Where have I seen that person before? You know, you type it in. Again, did they invent early internet culture unintentionally? VH1.
Oh, no, this how I would know. Was it Jersey Shore? Was that VH1?
That was
That was
MTV.
MTV.
But I think they're owned by the same,
They are.
they're like sister
Viacom,
channels.
Sister channels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Snookies and the situation and all them, they set the game up and knocked it out the park. That hasn't been the same since.
Yeah. They did you know Pete Holmes, the comedian who's been on the show, and he tells the story of when he was a struggling comic in New York, just trying to make it. He got booked on I Love the 90s or I Love whatever it was, and he said it was a life-changing gig because he could go in there, crack some jokes, watch some clips, crack some jokes, and he got $500 a pop. And he's like $500 per appearance was like more than I was ever seeing in my comedic career at that point. And that got him a college tour. And then that got, his career took off because of that show.
They were basically Instagram reels, though. It was like, here's a clip with like my head, because now even the form, it is exactly what people do, except they scroll vertically and just instead of watching them linear from clip to clip. Or
what ridiculousness?
No,
that was MTV as well.
Yeah, I love the 90s.
Still,
it's the same thing.
Figured it out.
It's the same thing because MTV was like the teens and VH1 was for the 20s and 30s. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's like, but the same.
Because y'all were even talking about like the comedians on I Heart the 90s. That was where on MTV they had like girl code, boy code, or guy code, whatever it was. And like that, there's a lot of comedians that was where Pete Davidson got his start. Was he was doing like stuff on that, and then he got onto Wild and Out, and then he eventually got onto SNL. Like that. Launch his career, but it was just short clips.
Pete Davidson was on Wild and Out?
Yeah, for like a season.
What did he do?
Crazy.
You're supposed to rap.
Yeah, he did.
Pete definitely got bars.
You think?
Pete is definitely the drunk white dude that will fry you if you're not careful.
He's clever. He's clever. Like he's not like a great artist, but he can come up with good bars.
Insult.
Yeah,
good insults.
Good insults.
That's what battling is. It's just how can I? It's playing the dozens. Like that's all it is. So
Matt Rife. Who's like.
He was on Wild Out.
He was on Wild Out for years. That's how he became famous. He was the white guy that would tear you down.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think before him it was Pete Davidson was the white guy. Like
that's crazy.
So
I didn't know that.
Well, either way, we've gotten to the bottom of who created the internet culture here.
Tila Tequila.
Yeah, it's Viacom executives in the early 2000s.
Exactly. I wonder what she's doing now.
Well,
I think she was a Christian at one point. I think she got saved, right?
I was going to say, I think she's probably had a pretty rough landing, but I think you're right that she did become a Christian.
The moniker.
Black China did. She became a Christian.
That's crazy.
Flavor of Love. Remember that? That was great. With
my gosh. Flava Flav is crushing it this year, too. Flava Flav's having an amazing year right now. It's like so funny to see. He was like at the Olympics doing truly everything. He
sponsored a couple of the teams.
Yeah, he sponsored the women's polo team because he found out that like they were all having to still work normal salary jobs just to do this, and he was like, "That's crazy. Let me just sponsor all of you." Which I'm like, that's what I want from celebrities is paying for the women's U.S. Olympics polo team to go to Paris. Like,
sure, love it.
Why not?
Side. I just googled Tila Tequila. She in 2000 and. What was this 2007 or no? This is 6 years ago. She did the full gamut of the reality or star. She did the crazy rise to fame from nothing, and then go full crazy Christian afterwards. Because she says, Tequila says, porn stars and celebrities will be dying more and more with the second coming on the way. So that was 6 years ago. So she went the full tinfoil hat, thing.
Did she change her last name from Tequila after she became a Christian?
Yeah, probably.
Was that her legal name?
And then she converted to Judaism after this. So she went Christianity, then Judaism.
She's on an interesting journey.
Did they also have a show too where it was sort of like just celebrities that, and I use the term loosely, but like it wasn't even celebrities. It was like people who were famous. Right, because I do feel like there's a distinction there. Like you could have committed some crime and be famous, but you're not like a celebrity. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, but it was like people who are famous, and
we
I can't
know
remember
who Tonya Harding is because she, exactly. Or any number, but you wouldn't say that person's like a celebrity. There are people who are just, or like a politician, or who's like in a scandal, or the Menendez
or something.
brothers. Yeah,
like they're or but didn't they have a show where it was like people who, and I can't remember I don't think there was an objective. I don't think people were getting voted off. I think they were just kind of hanging out and put in odd scenarios. But it was like Tammy Faye, like Vanilla Ice, like just like a really interesting sort of
they do that now
mix of celebrities, and they all just kind of hang out in a house.
Are you talking about like Celebrity Big Brother?
No,
it wasn't called that.
It wasn't like I don't think there was like a game aspect to it. I think they were just
they would have like challenges or something. Like they would go do activities together, and like they would have to. Like I remember the one I was watching in the last year, which was a lot of D-list people. Like they had to take like college courses or something. Like they were all enrolled in college together, and they had to do like group presentations, and then they lived in this big mansion together. It was really weird.
It was the surreal life.
Yeah,
it was like
the surreal life.
Yeah.
But basically, all they have to do is they try to get through 2 weeks of living together in a Hollywood mansion. That was it. Like there was no overarching game. It's just we're going to put like Ron Jeremy, Tammy Faye, and like Vanilla Ice in a mansion and just kind of hang out and film it and just see what happens.
I'm literally telling you about this one I just saw. It was the Surreal Life season 7 that I just saw. It was Dennis Rodman, Frankie Muniz, Stormy Daniels, Tamar Braxton. It was the weirdest lineup of people ever, and they had to like take college classes and stuff. That was like their one of the challenges.
That really sounds like you
doing.
Put every D-list celebrity in a hat and just picked out the first few names.
Okay, but that was 2021. So they have a season 8
still going.
2023 season 8. Macy Gray, Chet Hanks, Kim Zoliak from Bravo, Jose Canseco, Johnny Weir. And some other people, I don't know their names, Ali Brooke and other people. I mean, so it's still going. It's still going. That's crazy.
Oh,
Wait,
good for them.
Chet Hanks is a celebrity I think about a lot because I need to know what his father thinks of him. Because,
but again, wouldn't you say Chet Hanks is not a celebrity? Chet Hanks is famous.
He should be on the show Claim to Fame.
Yeah, like he is famous.
But I don't know what he's known for besides doing dumb stuff.
Well,
That's it.
The only thing he's known for is being the son
other
of
Tom
two
Hanks'
very
son, who's
the
not
disappointing
successful.
Tom Hanks son.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing. He is famous. His parents are celebrities. He is famous.
his brother's a celebrity.
Yeah.
He's literally known as being he's Stephen Baldwin. He's the disappointing one of the famous family.
Not Stephen Baldwin.
That
Billy
is such
Baldwin.
a good comparison, though. He's known for
good.
embarrassing the Hanks name, which is very funny.
Yeah. All right. We'll move the show along.
The thing is, when Usual Suspects came, that movie, you would have thought, man, this guy's got a bright future.
Bright future.
And then I think Biodome is where things took he did Biodome and a Flintstones remake, and I think it never recovered from there.
It never came back.
You know that late in the office, Andy, I think it was literally the last episode, Andy was reminiscing, they're all reuniting, and he said something to the camera. He was like, I wish they would tell you that these are the good old days when you're in them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think about that of people like Steve Ball. You're talking about like, there's Unusual Suspects, stuff like that, the Usual Suspects. And it's like, if he, like looking back, we know that was the apex, but he didn't know it at the time because we all thought you're right.
Does.
Like he's the next, he's on the upswing. And it's like, hindsight is 2020, but I wish they would just tell you.
No one
By the
knows.
way, this is it.
Hey
this
guys,
is the best it's going to get.
You're peaking right now.
Peaking
bro.
right now.
You're peaking
Enjoy
right
it.
now.
Enjoy it.
'Cause
Save your money.
It's not going to get any better. Oh man.
Well, that's why I feel like people like Eddie Murphy, like he knew. He was like, no, I'm all right. It peaked. Like, I'm good. Like, I could just be Eddie Murphy. I could be the guy who was the guy. I don't have to like act like, you know what I mean? Like there are people who I do feel like recognized it. Like after he had his like 80s run, he had SNL, then he had like Nutty Professor. He was the biggest star in the world. And when it started tapering off, I feel like he was like, okay, I think it should just be good for a while. You know what I mean? And, there are those people.
And I think the people that peak early are the ones that are unnaturally confident in themselves in the moment. Where it's like, it felt like Stephen Baldwin was like, it's like, bro, you had a couple of great movies, but like you shouldn't be this arrogant a little bit, or this like, you know what I'm saying? Like this, he was just extra at a season. Like he just went a little too extra. You just see that with the people that peak way, way too early, as opposed to the people like, I would say Beyonce, who is like, she's just consistently focused on greatness. It doesn't seem like she's just overly prideful. You know what I'm saying? It seems like she's just focused. I don't know.
Stephen Baldwin at one point went through a fedora phase, and I feel like that's a big
The fedora
red flag.
did it.
I think when someone goes through a strong fedora phase, that tells me they lack a certain degree of self-awareness. That
Yeah, man.
is, but not just self-awareness. They think they're cooler than.
But his fedora phase lasted. He was early on it, and he stayed a little
way
late.
Too late.
Yeah, it's just like it went from like 95 to like 2014. It's like nobody.
Wait, and sorry, when was exactly the fedora phase that was acceptable? Because as far as I've been alive,
Timberlake, Justin Timberlake would be the only small window. Would you say
Prohibition?
Okay. Yeah, there was a moment in like 2001 where Justin Timberlake, could pull it off. And,
sure, there was probably a 2-week period where
and
it
then
was
everybody
cool.
else thought they could pull it off, and they were wrong. But yeah, anyway.
the fedora claimed a lot of people.
Have you watched that? Not Ed Hardy. What was the hat that
Tom
everybody
Hardy?
had?
Oh,
No, not Tom Hardy.
Von Dutch. Von Dutch.
Have you watched the Von Dutch documentary on HBO?
No.
There's a documentary on Von Dutch.
On what happened, dude.
Wait, it's coming back now.
Dude, there was murder. I mean, the story of what happened to Von Dutch, how it became the thing, the Paris Hilton hat, the LA hat, and then what happened, the downfall of it, literally it's the craziest story of like, obviously he was just a pinstripe kind of artist back in the hot rod era. That's Von Dutch, the man. Mm-hmm. And a guy bought the license to his work after his death. And then that guy kind of got partnered with somebody who like pushed him out. But that guy was ambitious, started to do apparel and stuff like that with the Von Dutch name. And then those guys brought in another partner to grow it, and that guy pushed them out. So then that guy didn't have the taste and stuff of the guys with the vision, and he just sold out to the masses and licensed Von Dutch for everything, ruined the coolness of the brand. And then like it peaked at like 600 million a year, and then it went bankrupt. But the guys who were burned along the way were like gang affiliated. And like people got shot and stuff because of like the bad business dealings around Von Dutch. Over Von Dutch, dude. It's crazy. Got to watch this documentary.
But
little green hats was doing work in the hood.
Dude, people died over those hats. That's the insane thing.
Ironically, we're talking about peaking here, and just sort of bring this all back. The peak of like the VH1 thing, right? When that was top of the mountain, was the highest level executive at VH1 rolled in one day with a Von Dutch hat and a Jesus is my homeboy shirt, and that was the greatest day of that guy's life, and it peaked right then. That day he wore that outfit, he had a roster of hit shows, and it's never been the same for that guy. I know he's
like
out
a
there.
shell necnecklace on, or a little.
Oh my God, the puka shell necklace.
The puka shell necklace. Anyway,
I always say puka.
We have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talk to author and speaker Lysa TerKeurst. At the end of the show, this is our first official show in the fall. Our fall was this weekend. It's our first fall show, so we have a game. Pumpkin spice hot takes. Wait, that's coming up later. You don't want to miss that. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's Lysa's.
Me not trying to make myself look bigger off of this Kendrick mention. I can't imagine his position. Before I got on my mission, I was a party victim. I bought the party favors. I used my trauma, my single mama, to justify commas to pay the devil's wages. Whew. That probably went over their heads. Basically what I said is I was government fed, bred for doing time in the feds, but Jesus bled. Instead of putting dents in their head, he turned his. My cup runneth over with nonsense.
You're listening to Lecrae. The song is Die for the Party. P. Diddy probably will die for those parties.
Cameron.
What? You don't think? It's being recorded.
That's a
Die
lot,
for the
Cameron.
party.
That's a lot.
Lecrae! It's Lecrae's song. I didn't say it. He said it.
Get the edit. That's a lot. That's a lot. Get the edit button.
All right. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold.
It's time for
Slices.
What do you have, Jesse?
All right. Well, I don't know if you guys are sensing this, but according to new research, 41% of people in this survey of American adults said that they are experiencing peak stress right now. Stress for the whole year. They're way more stressed this year than last year, and almost half. It is absolutely at its peak. They said it's a culmination of factors. Finances, number one, followed by the economy, physical health, and 20% of the stress is coming from the presidential election. Another 20% or 19% is coming from other world issues. Here's my question. Are things inherently more stressful, or do you think we're just inundated with things that are meant to induce stress all the time, that this is why people are stressing out? Like, do you think the world is inherently more stressful than it has been at other points where people aren't as stressed out? Or, like I said, do you feel like it is the inundation of reminders of stressful things that is actually causing it?
We just kind of talked about this on the last episode with the dead internet theory and that the bots and attacks and things like that. But you talking about that 20% of people say that the election is causing a high level of stress. It makes me feel more like the bots have psychologically affected us. But anyway, this is 4 years ago, during the last presidential election, right around the time of like George Floyd and everything, I was extremely stressed out. I walked through a lot of that on this pod with a lot of y'all. And this year, what I decided to do was I don't scroll on Instagram or anything anymore. If I want to post something, I literally have to download the app to post something. That's the only time I keep in touch on there for the moment, and to answer messages and DMs. And my life has been way less stressful, because I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know every movement of everything that's happening. I have to find out from my friends. And I can tell you right now, for me, removing as much social media as I had with being an influencer and such has definitely made my life way less stressful. And I think that some of this is, we got high inflation. We got, some financial stuff that's happening, but some of this is the constant conversations of the negatives that go around. It bothers us. Also, the people that are trying to sell you stuff on your timeline that are really good at making it seem like they're not trying to sell you stuff. The number one thing that they do is they have to find a pain point, exaggerate that pain point in order for you to buy into whatever they're selling. So that's a big marketing scheme on the internet. And I think that has also produced a lot of like anxiety in people, because think about it. If you go watch a fitness person, you feel like you're not in shape. Go watch a health person, you feel like you're not healthy. Listen to a financial person, you feel like you're not making any money. Go look at anything. You look at someone, you're too skinny. You're not skinny enough. Like it's a lot. So that's my opinion.
I agree with you. Because the reality is, we have literally record high stock market right now. We have record low unemployment. We have national peace in the U.S. There's no riots. There's no, whatever. Internationally, yes, there's two egregious wars happening right now. But the reality is we are in a historically most peaceful time in world history. And it's like, but to listen to the internet, and the news cycle, and like you were saying, social media, you would think like the world's burning down right now. And it's just, the reality is life is a lot more stable and peaceful and happier than you would think if you looked online. So Jesse, I think the stress is, sure, somebody may have lost their job or they have financial pressure. Inflation's a real thing, obviously. But the reality is like, I think we have been training ourselves to look so much at what could be better in our lives that we're losing perspective on what's great in our lives. We're not appreciating our friends, our family, and our shelter, and our church community, or whatever. We're just taking it all for granted. And I think it's a perspective thing, which I do think is deeply affected by social media.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, like when you think about social media, like depending on how you've curated your feed, like if you're just following, like we said, like a lot of like news organizations, they're constantly posting about all the negative things happening in the world. They're not going to post about the positive things happening. So like on Instagram, I don't really follow a ton of like news accounts on Instagram. I really just follow my friends and family, because it's like, I want to see the happy things they're posting about their lives or their families or their kids or whatever. Like I want to see those positive things to be reminded of like the happiness in the world. And then I go over to Twitter where everything is on fire, and I have that balance.
Y'all need my algorithm.
Everything is on fire.
My feed is nothing but humor and basketball. That's like literally all I follow. So, you know,
just on X, you just have to stay off the For You. Like
100%.
Do not. The For You is literally hell. Like,
I mean, frankly, it's that on all of them. You know, like you just got to avoid all that.
Yeah. But as like much as we're reminded of things, of political tensions and economic issues, like none of us are worrying about, you know, being in an iron lung because of polio, or being maimed in like a meat packing factory accident. Or
I'm actually terrified of being in an iron lung personally.
But I'm saying, like,
tuberculosis is making a comeback, just FYI.
I know someone who had TB. Okay.
there were like legitimate, like dangerous, harmful, scary stuff that it's just no longer part of our frame of reference.
The infant mortality rate. Look at the early 1900s and how many dads were raising the children because mom died in childbirth. I mean, like we live in a really, really blessed and prosperous time. And it stinks that we lose perspective with that.
Definitely in the U.S. Like in other places in the world, they're dealing with but in most developed countries, like the life that you live, your great grandparents would be extremely happy to trade places with you.
Because even if you're struggling in some aspect of your life in context of what they went through, you know, I mean, think of it, just society, racial divide, segregation 50, 70 years ago. I mean, it's just like our world has transformed for the better. I don't want to listen to the people who are telling me that it's like never been worse than it is now. It's all going to die tomorrow. You know, it's like, whatever.
I think there's a balance too of like, yes, there are always things that can be changed and improved upon and stuff like that. But I think, like you said, having that perspective of like you said, 50 years ago, my grandparents, the way they were living, I'm living a better life now. Sure, there's progress to be made, but let's like celebrate the progress along the way, not just focus on what we have to do next.
Because I even think about the people that are like, it was so much better back when we were like, all the food was more natural and all that different stuff. And I'm asking myself, are you going to get out there and plant a garden and a farm and trade me sweet potatoes for apples? Because if not, be quiet, go to Whole Foods, pay your extra money that you had to pay because of inflation. And it just is what it is right now. But I will say this, that there are pros and cons too. And one thing that our grandparents didn't have to deal with is, you know, my mom was telling me how she built or just my mom, she was telling me how she built our house for like 80 grand. You know what I mean? Like my grandmother, they built our house for like 30 or 40 grand. Like the inflation wasn't so bad, or the economy wasn't so bad that moms had to work. Like now we live in a 2-income society. Like it just is what it is. Like the idea of the mom staying at home is very rare in many situations. So I'm not going to say people shouldn't be stressed out, because there are real stressors, but I think it's also, we got to look at the big picture, but that's hard to do that when we're constantly being pushed negativity.
But to the point of lifestyle expense and stuff like that, like a lot of this is the keeping up with the Joneses. Like you're making lifestyle choices to make yourself financially stressed. Some people are, for sure. You could simplify your life. You could move to a cheaper city, town, rural. I mean, there's things you could do if this is too stressful and you can't keep up and you want to be able to spend more time with your family and you can't, well, then you might need to make some hard changes, to then have that margin. It's just, what are your priorities? That's my thing.
Which I think also is going back full circle, talking about what we talked about earlier with the reality stars. And y'all remember that show? It was even before my time, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Saturday after cartoons. That's when
it was one of those things that you watched and it was like, wow, that life right there is not unattainable. That's not even something I'm really shooting for. Now, if you're 25 and you don't have a life that looks like the Kardashians, you feel like a failure. Mm-hmm. And that's not rational. Like a lot of these people, and also I'll tell you this, a lot of these influencers, I just saw a video in LA, literally people rent everything. They rent their house, shoot content. They rent a house, shoot content in it. They don't even live in it. They rent cars, shoot content in it. They don't even live in it. So, just be careful with what you're ingesting. I think if we have our family, if we're providing for ourselves, and I think that's a good baseline of happiness, as opposed to being like, I have to have all of the latest and greatest.
Well, because the old cliche at some point starts to click over. You no longer own your stuff. Your stuff starts to own you. Like,
Oof.
I remember like my grandfather, he never wanted to own much because he wanted to hit the road and get out on the camper and be gone for months at a time and have no obligation. He didn't want to be owned by anything. But the more you own, like I said, at some point it owns you. Like, you got to make the payment on it, or you got to do this and that. You got to maintain it, or you got to pay the taxes on it. And it's like, I'm working just to have the stuff instead of, I have
margin,
the things that give me, my basic kind of necessities or whatever,
Okay. Well, what do you have, Emily?
Earlier we were talking about how Flava Flav is like using his platform to help other people. And I kind of have another story of another celebrity using their platform to help other people. And it's Steve from Blue's Clues. Y'all remember him? Steve.
Sure.
What a guy. Real name Steve Burns. I always thought Steve was like a character name, but it actually is Steve. So he is currently posting videos on TikTok, kind of acting as like the internet's therapist, which is really interesting. He's posting these videos that are really just allowing people to process things online. We're actually going to play a video here so you can see how simple these videos are.
Hello. What's going on? How are you? What's new?
And so that's all he does. And then people will post comments saying things like, I finally got my apartment. I'm moving out of my parents' house, or life is lifing, Steve. You didn't prepare me for this. Like, it's like,
there's a lot of like cancer, or my parents died and I'm alone.
Man,
and like,
rough.
It's crazy. Like, he'll just sit there and look into the camera with soft music playing, and he's like listening to you, and people are being moved to tears, and they're sharing and opening up their hearts, like, just to feel heard and seen. It is the most beautiful thing. If you're not following Steve Burns on TikTok, you need to.
I'm gonna follow him. That's crazy. I love it.
It's really beautiful.
It's really sweet. And like, some of the comments are saying like, it almost feels like he's like a modern day Mr. Rogers, just because like he's just using his platform to like create this space for like, sometimes you just need to be asked, like, how are you doing? Like, that's all we need to be asked. And then that kind of like gives us this space to open up, think through life, process it. And it's just really beautiful. And I like, it's so random that Steve from Blue's Clues is doing this, but I'm a fan of it. I love it.
The quiet kind of self-help content vertical, like Mr. Rogers, or even like Bob Ross, like where it was like that. On the text of that show was a show about painting. The subtext was, it was a show about, you can be creative. There is no mistake. You can turn a mistake into
happy accidents.
Yeah. But like, people are drawn to that kind of content. Good for him.
Yeah.
There's 10,000 Bob Ross paintings in a warehouse, and the Bob Ross Foundation will not sell it.
Why?
Yeah.
They don't. There's no explanation. Like the world wants them. They would pay top dollar. It could fund good things, but they're just sitting in a warehouse.
They probably don't want his legacy to be commerced. out.
That's what his widow, she's passed away now, and now it's the family foundation, but that was her MO. Like, she didn't want him to, it wasn't a commercial thing. He was doing it for the enjoyment, not for money.
What good are they doing in a warehouse?
Exactly. That's my thing, is like, art should bring joy. And like,
You need to go full Kincaid. Small stores, the magnets, neckties.
Nobody needs to go full Kincaid, my man.
I'm talking about the business
Did
model.
you ever look
I'm
at
talking
the
about
personal section on his Wikipedia page?
Dude,
it is very problematic.
I can separate
What
the
is
art
this?
from the artist.
Thomas
okay?
Kincaid, the painter of light, the Christian painter. You go into any Christian bookstore in the 90s or 2000s, and there was a whole section of Thomas Kincaid stuff, paintings
I
with
think they're still
inspirational
there, I'm
Jesus.
sure.
And like, they would be on all these products and stuff. Turned out the dude was a bad dude, and it was just him hawking stuff to Christians to make money.
So
And
what do you mean bad? Unpack that for me, please. Even if I don't have to do my slice, I just want to understand what's happening here.
she pulled it. We were talking about this at staffing the other day. I don't know why it came up, but
Yeah,
she was
why
like,
were we talking about Thomas Kincaid?
Why is there no like movie? You know, like a Thomas Kincaid biopic, I could see like A24 doing. You know, like
Yeah.
It's crazy like that.
Well, okay, so I mean, some of it is just like business practice stuff. Like he was investigated by the FBI at one point, like for some fraud issues that were going on. But the like personal conduct is like his former colleagues, employees. Some of them said he had like a long history of just like heckling a lot of people. But there was also this weird instance where he like urinated. I don't know if it was on someone or near someone.
It was at a meeting. To show dominance and to own, like to mark his territory that he was the king of the meeting. He urinated on a guy in a meeting at his offices. Did the guy
beat the brakes off of him?
There was alcohol abuse. There was some it seems like there's like one sexual assault allegation. Like there's some wild stuff out there.
Stuff that shouldn't be highlighted in a Christian bookstore is all I'm saying.
It should not. No. Yeah. If you ever want to look at that.
I remember they took Sho Baraka's album off the shelf for saying like booty or something. Like
Lifeway banned Relevant because we were too secular. Like we had a rock band on our cover one time.
This guy out here peeing on people. You got all this crazy house. This is crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. We actually have run out of time for your slice, Derek. We will we'll pick up next week. All right.
Thanks.
All right. Stay tuned. Up next, Lysa TerKeurst joins us. You're listening to Jordan Ward. The song is Player 2.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold.
Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth. Creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold.
Well, our guest today is Lysa TerKeurst. She's a speaker and author of dozens of books, including her latest, which explores how to heal from a toxic relationship, something too many of us have dealt with firsthand. We sat down with Lysa to identify red flags in relationships and ourselves, and how we cannot let one bad relationship ruin our whole lives. Here's our conversation with Lysa TerKeurst.
Well, before we dive in, I would like to clarify something, because trust can look like a lot of different things to different people. So how are you defining it in this conversation?
Well, trust is the oxygen of all human relationships. So you starve a relationship of trust and you starve a relationship of vibrancy, possibly even life. It's very hard for a relationship to be alive and thriving if there's no trust in it. Trust is made up of safety and connection. So in other words, in order for there to be a relationship, we have to have a connection with another person, but we also have to have the assurance of safety, or that connection feels too risky. So we want connections with people, but we want those to be safe. We want to know that the other person is who they say they are. They're going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to be honest, and they've got our back. They're not looking for opportunities to do something awful to us. They're looking for opportunities to seek my highest good, and I'm looking for an opportunity to seek their highest good. So that is the fabric of trust, and that's why trust is crucial to a relationship. But what trust is really made up of is time plus believable behavior. And when there's enough time with someone and their behavior has proven to be true over and over and over. They are who they say they are over and over. They do what they say they're going to do over and over. They tell the truth over and over. So over time, that believable behavior paves a track record that reduces the risk of the relationship down to a really comfortable place where we can settle in and feel like, yeah, this is a trustworthy person.
What are some red flags that we should be looking out for in our relationships?
Yeah, so red flags, I think it's important to state, first of all, what a red flag is. A red flag is when you're interacting with someone and you kind of tilt your head and you think inside yourself, something's not right. Now, the good thing about this red flag is it's like a little alarm, right? The hard thing is we don't always know what to do with it. And I think for someone wired like me, I want to believe the best about people, so much so that I'm prone to ignore red flags because I just want to give the other person the benefit of the doubt. That is a great quality until it's not. And I think for a long time, I just kept thinking that red flags would take care of themselves. If we just have a good enough relationship, if we just pray together, go to church together, read books together, and do fun things together. But red flags we ignore don't typically fix themselves. They just become more and more of an issue. So let's look at a couple of the red flags. One that causes me great concern is incongruity. And I'm going to read you the definition that I wrote for this red flag in the book. You may be picking up on incongruity when the other person says they who they say they are isn't in line with what they actually do. The words that they say don't match the way they actually live on a day-to-day basis. They want people to perceive them one way, but they act in a completely different way. So there's incongruity there. This one messes me up so much, especially when I'm dealing with someone who has a great public persona. And so I build up this expectation of what they're going to be like behind the scenes. And when they're not that way, it starts to really mess with me, because I can either see it as a possible red flag about this other person and recognize there may be incongruity here, or I can personalize it and think there's something wrong with me. And so this is a big red flag. Another one is insincerity. An insincere person will tell you something that they think you want to hear, but they don't actually mean it. You get an uneasy feeling when they compliment you or half-heartedly make plans with you. You know, it's the insincerity really comes out for me. And I don't know, Emily, you can tell me if it comes out for you this way as well. But like when you see someone and they're like, man, we should get together. But you kind of know they're not going to text you, or if you text them, they're going to be too busy. And so it's like, it just gives me that yuck feeling of, you know, like I want to believe that they really like me. I want to believe that what they say to my face is true, but I'm not really sure that that's what is really going on in their heart, you know?
Is there a list of questions we can be asking ourselves to see if we have any red flags in our own lives?
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because in this chapter, I go through these 11 red flags. But I also recognize that, hey, as we're reading through these red flags, we may see some of this kind of behavior in ourselves. And so it's a great tool not only to make us more aware of other people, but also to create a deeper sense of awareness in ourselves and self-awareness, you know? But I also point out that these red flags are red flags externally, but internally they start to form roots of distrust. And so if you're dealing with someone and maybe they are full of integrity, you know, maybe they are like, man, they are a good person. And at the same time, they have this insincerity thing that we just talked about going on. It's like, yeah, man, they're such a good person. So why do I feel so uneasy around them? And why is it that I feel like I can't quite trust them? Well, when you go through these red flags, you'll see that the red flags externally that we're witnessing can become this root of distrust internally. And so it'll help us examine, like when we feel like we can't trust someone, there's 11 categories to examine. Why? Where's that root of distrust coming from? And the great thing is, all red flags are not equal. All roots of distrust are not equal. So just because maybe we're in a dynamic with one person that they're being irresponsible, well, that's less of a wear and tear on our mental stability than if we're dealing with someone who has a lack of integrity. And so it really allows us to say, when we say, I'm feeling like I can't trust this person, let's really break that apart and see where the root of distrust is coming from so that we can start having healthy, honest communication about what is creating so much dysfunction in this particular relationship.
Let's say that we identify a few red flags in a relationship. At what point do we decide this is too much, this is unhealthy, and I just need to cut this off?
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, first of all, I want to say, I think as a Christian woman, I felt like distrust was a big no-no. I felt like, and this is wrong, but this is what I felt like. I felt like the ultimate goal was for me to get to a place where I could trust all people, because that would show me that I love them unconditionally, right? But while love can sometimes be unconditional, trust should never be unconditional. Trust should be very conditional. And this was a huge eye-opener for me as a Christian woman. And so I had to get to the place where I recognized that we want to use wise trust. We don't want to use foolish trust. And sometimes distrust is the healthiest and wisest decision to make. If someone, remember we talked about trust is made up time plus believable behavior, which gives you a proven track record. If someone makes a mistake, we all make mistakes. We all fall short. We all demonstrate some aspects of these 11 red flags, right? There's a big difference between a mistake and a repeated pattern of behavior that becomes destructive. So we have to watch, is this a relationship difficulty because someone made a mistake? Or has this relationship suddenly become destructive because this person has a repeated pattern of behavior that is not only causing so much wear and tear in the relationship, but it's really hurting us. And so there's levels to how to respond to that. I mean, we don't have to just suddenly cut that person off and walk away. It can be we address the issue, we can work on the issue, we can reduce their access to us, we can have a separation for a season, or we may need to have a separation for a lifetime. There's different levels of that. But I think it's time for us to pay attention. It's time for us to become not so hyper-focused on discovering red flags in other people. It's not like we want to go on a hunt to find all that's wrong with other people. But I think it's a good time now for us to start to put language around some of these uneasy feelings of skepticism that we all have, but we just don't always know what to do with.
For someone listening to this who has experienced some deep distrust in a relationship, what are some things they can keep in mind to make sure that they don't start distrusting everyone?
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thing about trust. When trust is broken, a lot of times we want to isolate, because then not only does that relationship feel risky, but a lot of relationships feel risky. But trust cannot be repaired in isolation. If trust was broken in a relationship, it has to be repaired in the context of a relationship. That doesn't mean that it has to be in the relationship with the person who hurt us the most. But we have to be in relationship in order to repair the effects that broken trust has had on us. And so I think one of the great first steps is to find someone who has already proven themselves trustworthy in your life and take the risk of stepping back into that relationship and communicating what you've experienced, maybe even communicating some of the after effects that you're experiencing. And if that person has already proven themselves trustworthy, then they should be safe enough to start that reconnection process. Because remember, trust requires safety and connection. So we want to rebuild our connection muscles in the context of someone we already know is safe. And so if you kind of think of it like this, sometimes when trust is broken, some people want to prioritize connection so high that they diminish their need for safety, and they ignore the red flags and they just take the hits, and it continues to devastate them because they're so desperate to keep that connection with that person, even though that person hurt them. The opposite reaction is we start to prioritize safety so high that we diminish connection, not just in the relationship with the person who hurt us, but we tend to want to diminish connection in all relationships. So the goal here is to bring those two things back in equilibrium. We want a connection that's safe, and that's how we can start rebuilding our trust muscles.
That was Lysa TerKeurst. Make sure to pre-order her new book, I Want to Trust You, But I Don't. You can pre-order it now. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's Pumpkin Spice Hot Takes.
We at your crib, watch your comic view. Got it on lock, it's Guantanamo. He told me that anything's possible, and I believe it. I want to forgive you. A part of me wants to get even. Yeah, settle all beef. The boy is officially vegan. Wait, how could I lead the way if I'm not walking in freedom? Like I'm walking and eating. Like I can't wait to see him, yeah. Listen, why would I worry if God got it under control?
You're listening to Marty. He's not here, but he's here. You know, he's with us.
With us in spirit.
The song is
Like the
Big,
spirit.
Big in Japan. Big in Japan.
He's still alive though. When you say in spirit,
big in Japan. It's not about Diddy at all. Unlike the Lecrae song "Die for the Party," this one's not about Diddy.
Delete.
All right. Okay. It's time for
Pumpkin spice.
It's fall. Everybody has thoughts about fall. So we want to know your thoughts, dear cast members, about fall. So we want to know the different things that are the iconic things that happen in fall that everybody loves or hates or whatever. I want to know your thoughts on them. So tell me some things about fall that are either overrated or underrated. Tell me your thoughts. Emily, you kick us off.
It's almost like a twofer here.
Okay.
I like pumpkin spiced things. I'm currently drinking pumpkin spice or coffee with pumpkin spice creamer in it. So I like pumpkin spice things. But I do think it is overrated how excited people get about the pumpkin spice things coming out. Like when I saw the creamer, I didn't like lose my mind. But the way certain people post on Instagram about like, my life is now complete again, that a pumpkin spice latte is available. It's like, let's calm down.
So people are really like that. Like they're really overly in love with pumpkin spice.
I mean, truthfully, I have friends that like the day, I guess, Starbucks started, like the pumpkin spice lattes came available, they were posting about it like, thank God, I've been waiting all year for this. And I'm like, this is what we were looking forward to all year? Like,
I love it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
I like it.
Do they wear Uggs?
Yeah, probably.
All right, here's a Zach. Maybe it's not. Maybe you guys are in agreement with me. Synthetic carving pumpkins are far superior to the natural product.
Okay, I don't even know about this. What are you talking about? What is this?
So if you go to like a pumpkin, I end up carving a tremendous amount of pumpkins every year, mainly for like neighborhood parties, kid parties, even
don't they rot in like 2 days? In Florida, they do.
Exactly,
okay.
And they're disgusting. And cleaning those out are disgusting, right?
Yeah.
Now you can buy synthetic carving pumpkin. It looks identical to a pumpkin, and the texture is like this foam composite material that it carves just like a real pumpkin, right? But there is it's not real. It's just a fake pumpkin made out of like a material that mimics the actual texture of a pumpkin that you can carve, and you don't have no cleanup. I know like purists are probably like, oh, that's so wasteful and dumb. I don't care. It is disgusting carving a real pumpkin. Disgusting.
It is disgusting.
So carving a real pumpkin, overrated. Carving fake pumpkins, underrated is what you're saying.
Way underrated. It's a game changer.
All right.
This is like the fake Christmas tree versus real Christmas tree. That's what it feels like.
I'm going to go all in on the early Christmas decorations. Look, y'all.
Yeah.
I know you're excited. I know that listen, Jesus was born on Christmas. You do not have to put your nativity scene out October 12th. We cool with it. We know. We with you. I love God just like you. But look, man, y'all, if you listen to Christmas music before Thanksgiving is over, you're a serial killer. That's what it is. That's what it is.
So listening to Christmas music or decorating too early, deeply overrated. Got it.
Christmas at the beginning of fall, all overrated. Christmas does not start until after Thanksgiving. That's when Christmas stuff starts. So if you're early on that.
What's that verse in Ecclesiastes that's like everything has a season or everything has a time for a season?
It's called They Not Like Us. That's what it's
called. Okay. I, for a really long time, thought that decorating for fall was overrated, mostly because I was just lazy and I didn't feel like buying a bunch of like fake fall leaves and stuff. But last year I didn't decorate for fall, and I honestly just like it kind of made the season not as much fun. So I think this year I actually am going to try to decorate for fall a little bit more. I'll tell you at the end of the season if it's still overrated or not, but it did make a little bit of a difference.
I hate fall decorations. I ain't gonna lie.
But one thing I do like as a Floridian where we have no seasons is the color, like the leaves turning color. Yeah. Every year I'll go on a trip. I'll road trip up to the mountains just so I can experience color and the actual season. I think that's underrated. For y'all who live in that, like you take it for granted. So
well, that's the thing.
No, I don't. I love fall and spring in Tennessee. To me, are unmatched. Like it's unmatched. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's why I thought I didn't need to decorate for fall, because I was like, oh, I'm actually gonna experience a fall for the first time. But it was like well, yeah, if I look out my window, it's fall, but like inside, it's like, it feels the same as it does in, June or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I got to set the vibe right. Again, it's an experiment. We'll see if it actually makes any difference.
I'm honestly, y'all know I like Cali. I love the weather out in Cali, but I'm going to take a Tennessee fall over Cali just because of the color changes and the things changing. Like Cali just is like summer around the clock. As opposed to like here, it's like fall. You see this unique blend of color. So I love it.
All right, here's one more. I'll take us home on this. Okay,
take us home.
A lot
buddy.
of people are all about technology and having a fireplace where you just turn a switch and gas comes on and it warms. There's no cleanup. There's no danger. It's very safe.
Fun.
It's inexpensive. My house right now has a big wood fireplace, and when we got it, we're like, we should probably get gas in here. I got a chimney sweep out. That's what I did. And I had the bird's nest knocked out of there, and I've been doing wood fires. And I'll tell you, one night a live ember jumped right out, burned a hole in the carpet. I love the element of danger.
Love it.
Living life on the edge.
Yeah,
100%.
You can't do it till fall rolls around.
In Florida, you can do it one night a year. I have a fireplace one night a year. And when it gets like under 50, we'll like open the windows to cool the house down and then do the fire. Yeah.
Oh, so y'all can't do the fireplaces in the winter? It doesn't get cold enough?
There are fireplaces in most houses in Florida for some reason. I have no idea why, because it's literally 1 or 2 nights a year that you.
There's fireplaces in Texas too, which like it will in like the middle of the night it'll get cold enough, but like. Yeah. You're not really turning it on to like 10 p.m. at the earliest.
But I'm with you, Jesse. A real fire with danger. Underrated.
Yeah.
Jesse, I'd be terrified to be near you in an open flame.
I don't want it.
As you should be.
Jesse he's daring. He'll push but then there's a line that he'll go up to, but he's just like, okay, that's too far.
But how does Jesse know where the line is?
You're always testing it.
Aren't y'all the dudes that said y'all threw fireworks in a fire and jumped over it?
That was when Jesse didn't like it anymore.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, bro. I'm not doing nothing that got to do with fire with Jesse. Y'all told me this man gonna throw some fireworks in the fire.
We were just done with the fireworks. We had been using them for like 3 hours.
If a firefighter was near us, I would be.
Is that the only thing you can think of to do?
Jesse, do you remember when I lit Montana on fire? We were hanging out by the side of the river, and we had a little bonfire going, a little fire. Everybody's hanging out. We'd just been fishing. The water's cold, and it was like on the side of a hill, like right 3 feet from the river. And there was a water bottle full of gas or a fire starter. And it was like we came up on the guys and there was like a pitiful little fire. I was like, let's get this fire going. So I squeezed the water bottle of lighter fluid on it. The lighter fluid catches on fire. So it like comes back up into the bottle, into my hand, explodes. So I throw it, which throws flaming fire starter all over the ground and river. I rolled down the river, fall into the water. The water is on fire and we're floating away.
Cameron almost became the first person to both drown and be burned to death at the same time. No person has ever done that.
That's
like they were
crazy.
He had 2 causes of death. He burned to death while drowning.
Really, I was floating in this 38-degree water on fire, like trying to get away. Anyway, yeah.
And you want me to be near an open flame near the two of y'all?
Yes.
No,
right.
just turn the little gas on, click the little button.
Gotta
straight.
Gotta live.
I'm good.
Gotta live some, man. Come on. All right, that'll do it for
Pumpkin spice.
Well, before we wrap things up, I want to thank Lysa TerKeurst for joining us. Make sure to check out her book, I Want to Trust You, But I Don't. You can pre-order it now. Her team specifically wanted us to run this interview before the book came out, so you can go and pre-order it. Go pre-order it. If you've had a very damaging relationship, you should read it. If you've had multiple, like some of us, you should read it. Anyway, all right. Also, make sure to check out issue 115 of Relevant. It is out now. We have an amazing cover story with Letitia Wright. We also have Caleb Hearn, Judah and the Lion, local natives, Carl Lentz, WNBA legend Maya Moore, and a lot more. You can read the articles for free. Just click the magazine tab over there at relevantmagazine.com. Or if you want the beautifully designed, enhanced digital magazine, you can get it with Relevant Plus for just as low as $2.50 a month. You can get the magazine, this podcast ad-free unlimited reading at the website, and more coming soon. All the plans are right there. You can find out all the information at relevantmagazine.com. All right. On that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
It is disgusting carving a real pumpkin.
Relevant Podcast Network.
As you should be. As you should be. You're always testing it. Again, that's... I think we were just done with the fireworks. We were just done with the fireworks. We had been using them for like 3 hours.
Is that the only thing you can think of to do?
Jesse, do you remember when I lit Montana on fire? We were hanging out by the side of the river and we had a little bonfire going, a little fire. Everybody's hanging out. We'd just been fishing. The water's cold. And it was like on the side of a hill, like right 3 feet from the river. And there was a water bottle full of gas or a fire starter. And it was like we came up on the guys and there was like a pitiful little fire. I was like, let's get this fire going. So I squeezed the water bottle of lighter fluid on it. The lighter fluid catches on fire. So it like comes back up into the bottle, into my hand, explodes. So I throw it, which throws flaming fire starter all over the ground and river. I roll down the river, fall into the water. The water is on fire and we're floating away.
Cameron almost became the first person to both drown and be burned to death at the same time. No person has ever done that. Like they were crazy. He had 2 causes of death. He burned to death while drowning.
Really? I was floating in this 38-degree water on fire, like trying to get away. Anyway, yeah. Yes. Yes.
No,
right.
just turn the little gas on, click the little button.
Gotta live.
Straight.
Gotta live.
I'm good.
Gotta live some, man. Come on. All right, that'll do it for Jingle. All right, then we'll do our outs. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you next week.